Hi everyone and welcome to Disc Golf Valley Tips and Tricks, and today we're going to be doing our 3-star run on Owlwood. And if you have been struggling with this course, trying for your 3 stars on this, you are not alone. We are now starting to get into some of the more challenging courses to get your 3 stars. This is actually maybe the first course that really gets difficult. All right, here we are, hole number 1, let's go. And just in case you didn't have a chance to watch the practice run on this course, we'll maybe comment a little bit as we go as to our strategy and the discs we use. I usually pick out the Rive disc here, the windbreak. We call it the beach ball Rive. And with the wind in this direction, I probably wouldn't put that much of an anhyzer on it, but you do want to put something on this because this disc has a tendency to fade around. So you want to send it off to the left a little bit before it comes back around. Otherwise, you have a tendency to hit the wall and not make it as far as you'd like. All right, there we are. A birdie on number 1. The thing about this course is there's little chance of getting any eagles, and so you have to get a run of consistent birdies all the way through to get your 3 stars. Although if I'm remembering correctly, at least it used to be, I think on this course you only have to get -8. We'll see. Okay, on this one we use the beach ball again, and this seems to be like the perfect disc for this drive. Pull it back just a little bit of a hyzer on it, I guess depending on the wind, and that comes around and puts you fairly close to the lake. And yeah, here you have to be careful when you're running the basket, because if you go over or around it, you're going to end up in the lake. So I usually err on the side of being a little bit short. I don't mind if it hits the rim and falls back, I'll still get my birdie. But 59, we need to pull it down just a little bit more. And watch for that cameraman to move over a bit and let it go. Yeah, that's not quite enough, but the tree stopped us, and so now we should be able to at least get our birdie. Now you might notice if you end up right here behind this tree in this hole, you might find that you sometimes can't pull back your putter to throw it in. And I find usually if I just move it over, well, I should say slide over a little bit, then you move away from that tree. You can kind of see it in the shadowy there. The camera is showing you just where it is, and then move it around a little bit, and now you should be able to pull it back. Oh, there we go. Okay. People complain about that, and maybe in the next release they'll fix that so that you don't run into that problem. Okay, hole number 3. Just grab your fuse, pull it down, pull your pointer down to about here. Maybe put just a little bit of a hyzer on that. And it should bring you down right to the basket. Usually works, but you're usually okay down here too. You've got a nice shot at the basket. In fact, we probably could just toss it in, but because it's uphill, I might switch to throw in and play it safe. All right, so here we go for our 7. And I usually just slide over a little bit here, bring it in between these 2 trees, and put a half hyzer on this. And it usually swings around, slides up to the basket. A little further back than usual here, but there shouldn't be any problems getting this birdie. And we're off to hole number 5. And here's where it becomes a little bit challenging. The discs that we have in our bag, not the usual ones I use for this hole, but I found that with the Zeus, if I hold back on it a little bit, it usually works out. And so here's where I point right in between the tree and the bush here and put quite a bit of an anhyzer on this, but then just come back a little bit, maybe to just before the bottom of the second line there, and that should work out good. Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking for. And off we go to the next hole. All right, this can be kind of a challenging hole. I have found that, for me at least, the roll approach seems to work the best. We don't have the best roller, but let's give it a try. And put it to the forehand, and then bring your disc up to the center of the first line there, and let it go. And off it goes. Now, usually this just rolls right up to the basket, but I think we're going to be okay. This particular roll disc sometimes ends up hitting a tree, and you get behind some bushes. Watch that wind, quite a strong wind, so we need to compensate in our aim, 18 meters. There we go. All right, another challenging hole. I'm finding that the 10 usually makes it. Gonna put my pointer kind of right in the center of that wall there, in between those two trees, and put quite a bit of a hyzer on it. Don't want to do too much because then it hits some branches and doesn't make it across. But I think we're going to be okay. That's really what we're looking for. And hole number 8, perhaps the most challenging hole on the course these days. It used to be hole number 9 was the most challenging, but they've made that one a little bit easier to get. But this one can be tough to get the birdie. Let's go for our Zeus, and we need to remember to change it from backhand to forehand. If you forget that little step, you run into some problems. Okay, and I usually bring it down to about here, because if you just leave it where it is, that Zeus is going to fly up and hit the branch of that tree and slow it down enough that it doesn't get as far as what you'd like. And I think I'm just going to pull it straight back and let that thing bounce and go down the hill. Well, it didn't go down quite as much as we would like. But here we have two options. Go through the woods, and I kind of see a hole there. It's tempting to just go through the woods here. But maybe we'll just play it safe since we are on the 8th hole of a 3-star run. So what should we pull out here? I think the 10 would be what we want. Slide it over as much as we can. And then what we want to do is put quite a bit of a hyzer, so we go down the hill and around. Something like that. And then we have a pretty nice shot at the basket for our birdie. And last hole. And our disc of choice again is the beach ball, and we point it right about here, and we've got a kind of a nasty wind to work with. So we're going to put a little bit more of a hyzer on it to counter effect that wind and hope for the best. That 3 wind. If you forget to check the wind, you're gonna lose a point. Because on those 3 winds, the disc really goes up, and we're 23 meters away, so Good, we made it. And so that should do us for the 3 stars. We've got our 3 stars. And we got 20, and notice you only need 21. So that is still the case. If you get -8 on this course, you'll still get your 3 stars. All right, let's take a look at our discs. We've got an accurate fuse, an accurate sticky fuse, and so that's not bad, but the fuse that we currently have in our bag is better, so we're not going to mess with that. The Pioneer, an accurate extra glide disc, is always nice in that speed. I've never really used the Pioneer, so I can't really comment on it. It might be a great disc. I hear people talking about how they like the Pioneer. But this Ballista, here's our first Ballista, and it is actually a pretty good disc. If you are using the free approach, you will find that this disc works for so many holes. So if you don't have any purchased discs, be sure and put this in your bag and learn how to use it. It actually is very good. I might even consider putting it in my bag because it just, in the courses coming up, there's just so many places where it works really well. All right, well, I believe that does it for today's video and how to 3-star Owlwood. And hope you were able to pick up a few tips along the way, and that you can put them to use in your playbook to get your 3 stars as well. If you did find the video helpful, go ahead and give it a like. And if you haven't already done so, I invite you to subscribe to our channel, where we've got a lot of videos planned to help you up your game as you play Disc Golf Valley. We'll see you next time here at Disc Golf Valley Tips and Tricks. So long for now.